NASCAR safety has been brought under a huge question mark yet again, and it seems like the fans and the drivers are having none of it. While it would be safe to assume that the sport is moving towards improving this section of the racing, the latest development in Richmond showed exactly the opposite, and the fans have taken their anger on social media. This time, the hot topic is the splitters, and the drivers are unable to do what they were doing very successfully in the past: follow other cars closely. Will this be changed after the recent riots from the fans and drivers? Or will NASCAR keep its ground yet again with their stubbornness? This video has all the answers, so make sure to not go anywhere. NASCAR visited Richmond Raceway with quite some changes, and the 7th generation of the Next Gen Cup Series had some apparent issues while following other cars closely. This is one of the most important effects when it comes to racing in NASCAR, because the drivers are more often following closely than racing on a far distance. This is something that has presented an issue in many other motorsport categories, such as Formula One, and the governing bodies are trying to do anything that's possible in order to minimize the phenomenon of dirty and turbulent air disrupting the race pace of the following car. While NASCAR believed that the new splinters that were introduced in Richmond would have sealed the deal, that doesn't seem like the scenario right now. And with the increased aerodynamic efficiency and downforce levels on the next gen car have made it more susceptible to air from the leading car, which caused the following car to lose out on the same matter. The dirty and turbulent air from the leading car comes usually with increased amount of downforce, and that isn't half as good at working on aerodynamics as clean and undisturbed air. I know that the phenomenon of dirty air is impossible one to nullify, but minimizing it and creating a near-perfect scenario in which the cars could be able to follow up for a longer period of time is definitely the ultimate goal for both the drivers and the fans of the sport. Therefore, the Vice President of Vehicle Performance at NASCAR, Eric Jacuzzi, elaborated on the recent changes that have been made in Richmond. But what exactly has been done? In order to counteract the issues of having increased dirty and turbulent air towards the following car, NASCAR has been tirelessly working on a second version of its already existing short track package, and this package aims to improve racing by reducing dirty air as well as overall downforce levels of the cars. The main focus is the front splitter, something that received a lot of backlash from the fans and the drivers, which is why an elaboration from NASCAR's officials was necessary. As Eric went on to explain, we changed the splitter stuffers, so there are different lengths depending on the package. They're a little longer for the short track and road course package and a little shorter on the super speedways. The front edge is the same on both of them. You can see the big difference in the center section area. It goes without saying that there are notable differences regarding the new splitters for the short track package, and now we are yet to witness whether or not the cars will be able to follow and pass each other more easily despite the front fascia looking the same. However, on the same hand, NASCAR is trying to prevent a phenomenon that happened in Formula One. As this motorsport category, the DRS advantage has been increased so much that it's almost a guarantee that you'll be able to pass another driver unless you're stuck in a DRS train, a scenario in which multiple cars ahead of you are able to use DRS. Eric Jacuzzi didn't stop there, and he went on to explain as to what sort of changes the new splitters made on the Next Gen Cup cars with a day full of testing them out recently. Keep in mind that the Next Gen car has been consistently under a lot of scrutiny for the way it acted under crashes, as drivers like Kurt Busch and Alex Bowman had to sit out many races from crashes that didn't seem that serious, with the former one actually retiring due to the concussion-like systems sustained during the Pocono Raceway last year. When elaborating on this matter, Jacuzzi went on to say, "So, our results showed that the flat section of the splitter makes a lot of downforce, but it's very prone to traffic. So we removed that. And the really key thing is adding this downturn tip. We evaluated today leaving the section open and filling it in, and kind of saw the results we were expecting. Filling that in was perceived as worse by the drivers. The full effect of the short track update and the new front splitter is yet to be seen during racing conditions on the track, but it seems like this is just the first step towards improving safety on the track. However, drivers are not feeling the difference from Richmond compared to the other tracks, and they are not nearly happy with what is currently going on in the development of the next-gen safety. Ryan Preece from SHR has spoken about the difference in Richmond compared to the previous racing weekends. As he elaborated, "I couldn't tell much of a difference from my car yesterday to today. It was not what we were all hoping for. Didn't really feel much of a difference." Apart from him, one of the candidates to win the Cup Series this year William Byron, was also not happy with the current changes of the splinters. According to him, the differences were insignificant and very hard to be noticed, as he was one of the test drivers apart from Preece, Burton, and Bell. When talking about this matter, Byron went on to say, "It was hard to tell the difference. We were all sliding around a lot. I felt pretty loose. I was loose the whole day. I felt like initially, when we put the aero changes on, it had some similar grip to what we had yesterday. And then as we got closer to noon and the track started to heat up, less grip than yesterday. Similar lap time, and then in traffic, everyone was really loose. I don't know. We'll have to see. Hopefully get some other ideas for tomorrow. I didn't think it was much different." What is even a further blow for the new changes is that NASCAR's models expected a very close fight between the test drivers, but it turned out that they all been sliding all over the track and were nowhere near to the ultimate goal of the new upgrades. NASCAR has also implemented other changes on the next-gen car in the previous period, such as improved bumpers, which are meant to soften the blow when it comes to the punches from behind. Be that as it may, it's still yet to be seen whether the car will improve in a right direction, as NASCAR wants to explore visiting street venues more frequently in the upcoming period, something that the current version of the car is not very suitable for. But even though this is bad news for NASCAR in terms of making the car safer and being more predictable for the following drivers, Jacuzzi was very confident that the nature of the track on which the test happened, Richmond, is the main root of all issues regarding the lack of downforce and the inability of the test drivers to adapt. According to him, there would not be nearly as much complaints as there are right now had the drivers visited some more legendary venues like in Phoenix, as he continued to elaborate. Some of the feedback we got from the drivers today is if we were at Phoenix or maybe New Hampshire last week, they think it would have been better because Phoenix is a little more aero, a little faster track. We had planned on, if this was successful, we'd go to an organizational test in early December, potentially to let everybody have an opportunity to try this. I think we will probably end up testing in the off-season with all these parts, not just aero, but some of the other stuff like shifting and different things we've talked about. I could definitely see that. We have to keep working on this. It's not going to fix itself. We have to keep going. But with the playoffs, we don't want to be in that zone, so it moves into the offseason. Obviously, this is not where NASCAR plans to stop with improving the next-gen car, and the next goal would be to test out the Goodyear tire testing. However, if NASCAR decides to try additional changes, such as removing the diffuser completely and offset it with some spoiler to make it balanced, that would be one of the desired direction to test out in the following direction of improving anything that has to do with NASCAR's security policy. With this in mind, what do you think about the current development of events in NASCAR? Do you think that they are improving safety, or do you think that these are just experiments that have a 50-50 chance of working out? Let us know in the comments below.